Welcome to it. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. My name is Julius J. Welcome. From 4 p.m. all the way to 6 o'clock. A big debate will be right on the show. On OKFM 99.5, Muhammad Ali of the Unity Party. The party that got very tough on some of its NDC members. Very tough. very tough. We'll be in one of our hot seats. And then Benedict Koluba of the headquarterless CDC. Will be here, but those are not the things we'll be talking about. 3 thematic areas to explore. The two gentlemen have agreed to talk about the state of the economy, government reforms, development initiatives. Those are the 3 thematic areas. And of course, there are subtopics underneath all 3. We will explore those 3 areas. Listen with an open mind. Follow the conversation, the debate. Before then, we'll talk about the things that matter. Only on the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5.
It's an illusion, but you never know that this is the conclusion. No chance, no hope for those.
Also ahead is fact check. So let's go. Yep, this is where we go next. Well, I've been getting reports on my way here about some explosion of an oxygen tank, R&R facilities there around the Freeport, either in or around the Freeport. We know we have a reporter going there, but if you're around there and you can confirm, that will be very okay. I've been getting those reports from multiple sources. I'm told some people may have been affected. What's making news across the continent? At least 193 lives have been lost in 2 devastating boat accidents this week in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The first incident occurred on Wednesday in Basankusu territory, where a motorized boat capsized, claiming 86 lives, according to state media. On Thursday, another boat carrying nearly 500 passengers also caught fire and capsized near the same location. DRC's Ministry of Social Affairs said that about 107 have been found dead in Thursday's incident. 209 people survived and 146 people were still missing. Naval personnel and volunteers from the local community are assisting in search and rescue operations. Nigeria's Niger State has ordered preachers to submit their sermons for approval before delivering them. State Governor Umar Bago says the move is meant to curb inciting messages and protect public peace, not restrict evangelism. Earlier this month, the state introduced a law requiring all preachers to obtain licenses within 2 months through training and certification before preaching publicly. The directive excludes Christians. Some Islamic scholars have condemned the policy as a violation of religious freedom, arguing that only those who incite violence should be penalized. I don't find that sensible as well. former South African President Thabo Mbeki has called out his country for what he describes as a focus on isolationism instead of regionalism. He accuses the country of walking away from the Africa agenda and focusing only on its problems. In an address at the Banwalk Chancellor's Conversation at the University of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki also served as the inaugural chairperson, of the African Union, called on South Africa to reassess its focus on the continent and its push towards Pan-Africanism. Indeed, that's what it is. Let's take a quick break with some of our sponsors. When we come back, we go into the issues that matter. So let's go. Let's take this break. This break with some of our sponsors right here, right now. Share the video, invite others to join in. It is a tasty, tasty conversation ahead.
Football fever is here. Monrovia, Liberia. This September 20th, all roads lead to the SKD Stadium as the Giant of Liberia, FC Fasel, takes on the Giants of Algeria, MC Alger, in a CAF Champions League preliminary round 1. Come witness passion, pride, and power as Liberia's own FC Fasel defend home turf against North Africa firepower. Don't miss the clash of champions, the battle for glory, and the roar of the fans. History is calling. Will you answer? Be there this September 20th in Monrovia at the SKD Sports Complex in Pinzo City. Admission around the field, $500 Liberian. Stadium win, $5 USD. Around VIP, $20 USD. And VVIP, $100 USD with a complimentary exclusive package. This is the time. Come and support your own. Let's witness a historic day, a day to never miss on the football calendar in Africa. FC Fasel, our pride, our game. FC Fasel, let's rise again. FC Fasel versus MC Alger is powered by NIF Liberia.
Things are on me, with an emergency. How do I manage again?
But I know. Why are you sitting here just talking by yourself?
Julie, I need money quick. I want to go find somebody to credit me. Then I will pay them as soon as I get paid with the more in.
Echo Bank can credit you, but the only thing you have to pay in 1 month, and the good thing, the interest are just 3%.
For you?
Yeah, just go to any EcoBank branch and you ask for the form to enroll you on their salary advance platform. When they give you the form, you fill it up and you make sure your HR sign it. Then you take that form back to the bank. After you carry it to the bank, they will send you a message to let you know that you're already on the platform. Then you can use the *326# and request for 50% of your salary. Instantly, you will receive it.
Wow, just like that? Break it edit to more money, Judy. I'm going to the bank to pick up the phone quick.
Yo, go get the form quick. In less than 1 week, you receive the money. And what I like about it, they can't even ask you for collateral set.
I go in there right now, no wasting time, oh.
I'm not saying you must not go there right now. You must make sure you pay the bank money back. Oh.
Hey, Judy, that is talking slow, so I will pay back quick so I can credit again. Echo Bank is easy, oh. Echo Bank, the Pan-African Bank.
Mama, who takes care of development in our country?
We all do, my baby. You see, every time we pay our taxes, we are taking care of our country, Mama Liberia. Taxes help provide clean water, safe communities, and jobs for our people. When you pay your tax, Liberia grows.
Be proud, be responsible. Pay your taxes for a better Liberia. Pay tax, we all enjoy.
Welcome back. This is the OK Conversation. Let's see if we can get our fact check. Fact check. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Okay. Today is September 15th. Yep. Let's take our fact check. After this, we rumble.
Good day and welcome to the Fact Check segment. This segment debunks disinformation and it provides the verified facts of statements made online and on the radio. My name is Siawe Meapu and today we'll be fact checking claims made in the last couple of days. During his recent appearance on ELBC, Finance Minister Gostik Begafwan, he claimed that the University of Liberia got almost 100% of its 2024 budget, arguing that the only amount the university did not receive on its total allocation was US 16,000. He made this statement in response to questions about the funding shortfall at the university that was threatening the reopening of UL. To verify this claim, we reviewed the Government of Liberia's consolidated financial statement for fiscal year 2024. According to the document, the University of Liberia's final approved budget for fiscal year 2024 was US 33.7 million. Actual spending by the university in that year amounted to US 31.1 million, leaving a variance of US 2.6 million. Meanwhile, we contacted the Finance Ministry through its communication department for the source and documentation supporting the minister's claim, but we received no response up to the production of this fact check segment. Trust us, we will update this report once a response is provided. Based on our findings, we conclude that Minister Gafwan's claim that the University of Liberia got almost 100% of its budget is incorrect. According to the consolidated financial statement, the UL got US 31.1 million or 92.3% of the total US 33.7 million allotted to it in 2024. The expenditure made by the university resulted in a variance of US 2.6 million and not US 16,000 as claimed by the minister. On September 10, former Maryland County Senatorial candidate Eric Gego claimed on OK Conversation that he finished third in the 2020 elections but later dropped to fourth place in the 2023 senatorial elections in the county. He made this claim to respond to questions about his past participation in elections and his performance. To fact-check this claim, we reviewed the official results from the National Elections Commission. The records show that in the 2020 elections, Eric Gigo indeed finished third out of 8 candidates. However, in the 2023 elections, he actually finished 5th out of 8 candidates with a total vote of 4,523, not 4th place as he claimed. The 4th place position in 2023 was taken by candidate Damoras. Based on these findings, we conclude that Geko's claim that he finished third in the 2020 senatorial elections is correct, but his assertion that he finished fourth in 2023 is incorrect. He, in fact, came fifth with 4,523 votes. And finally, on September 13, the Liberian comedian Angel Michael, he claimed on Facebook that Pastor Jerry Easy of Nigeria is the highest paid YouTuber in 2 years. Angel Michael made a claim to congratulate the Nigerian clergyman. For the Nigerian clergyman to verify this claim, we researched the internet and found a 2023 list of Forbes 50 richest creators across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube who earned an estimated $853 million in 2025. We reviewed the list and found Mr. Beast or Jimmy Donaldson, often called the king of YouTube, as the most subscribed individual creator and the highest earner, earning $85 million with 634 million followers. Pastor Jerry was not seen among the 50 creators on the list. However, we found a report by Playbo, a global database creation platform that ranks YouTube channels. This platform revealed in its latest report that Pastor Easy commands the highest in live viewership in Nigeria, with an average of 282,451 viewers, earning 10.71 billion naira or $7.1 million US. Based on these findings, we conclude that the claim made by Angel Marker that Pastor Jerry Easy of Nigeria is the highest paid YouTuber is incorrect. Research shows that Mr. Beast is the highest earner globally from YouTube, while Pastor Jerry Easy has been the highest earner in Nigeria since 2021. That's all we have time for on today's edition of the Fact Check segment. This segment is part of an MOU between Local Voices Liberia, OKFM, Prime FM, and Kel Radio to counter disinformation and help the public make informed decisions. This MOU is funded by the Liberia Media Empowerment Project, implemented by Internews with funding from the European Union. The funder partner handle say in the editorial decision leading to the production of the Fact Check segment. We will be back with more fact check reports to help you know the facts. But if you want us to fact check a particular claim for you, please send us a text to WhatsApp on 0777556296 and we will do the checking for you. Also follow us on Facebook at Local Voices Liberia, on X at LVL Fact Check, and go to our website at www.localvoicesliberia.com. My name is Siawe Miapu. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.
Welcome back to the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. A whole lot of people are confirming exactly that incident is terrible. Our reporter is on his way there. We might get pictures and videos from that later. Something quite tragic happened in the US, and last week it was that same day when we went to Ganta. So Charlie Kirk, by that time I had not heard about him, didn't know anything about the gentleman, and as much as I follow Donald Trump and some of those who support him, I didn't know there was this quite vocal conservative fellow who really spoke along the edge, quite along the edge, until his death, and then the news feeds became overtaken by his gruesome killing while speaking at a student event in Utah. And the reactions have been there and all of that. And then a whole lot of videos about the guy started to pop up. Some think he's a racist, he's a divisionist, he's a divisive character and all of that. I've been watching and listening to a whole lot of this stuff that I really find him to be an interesting fellow. And I think he has become even more known after his death. I think the whole world has now heard about him, the messages he was preaching and all of that. Politics can be at the edge. He was a strong supporter of Donald Trump. I've listened to a whole lot. I disagree with some of what he had to say, but I quite agree with a whole lot of what he had to say as well. Quite a polarizing figure, but brave as well. Some of the things he was able to challenge to talk about in open, I've not seen or heard any Westerner being able to take on those issues, including pastors. Will not dare preach on some of the things that the guy talked about. Let's listen to something like this.
Are you truthfully here to try to change people's minds, or is there kind of a benefit to keeping people divided?
How am I dividing people if I ask you if you disagree, you come to the mic? How is that divisive?
Well, no, I'm just saying it's like you have these clickbaity titles. It says prove me wrong. What is a woman? You're dividing things very black and white.
What is a woman is not a clickbaity title.
I think it is.
What is a woman?
I'm not trying to answer that. Your critics are saying that you're trying to keep people divided. They're urging people not to come talk to you because you're going to spin it. What would you like to say to like your critics?
They're welcome to come to the microphone and say whatever they want to me, but they're intellectual cowards and they won't do that. You know how we heal our divides? By talking to people we disagree with.
I would agree with that.
We will get closer to a civil war if we act like that. We just yell at people we don't like. That's how you get closer to dividing the country. You heal the country when you allow disagreement and you allow a microphone with people that have differing views.
Okay, so that's one of the things. So that was his strategy, not to talk about violence, not to go away from the conversation. You know, but he felt it was important to engage with people you disagree with, talk, have conversations. So he was hosting these rallies on university campuses and, you know, debating with students. This guy would talk about woman being woman and man being man, and it was wrong for somebody who is a man to say the woman and for a woman to say the man. In open places, transgender. You know, there are some people. The issue of gay rights and all that stuff. Man getting married, woman getting married, and all that stuff. We openly spoke against those kinds of things. So, yeah. Very, very interesting fellow. As the weeks unfold, we'll bring some of those things. Just be playing them so that you. But this is one of the most. This is one of the most profound ones. Okay.
Leaving that aside, I wonder if by continuing to lie, they aren't about everything. They're driving all of us a little crazy.
Well, this is why your faith is the most important thing. Because for those of us that are Christians, it doesn't drive you crazy. You actually see what's going on, which is that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and darkness and spirits, that there's a spiritual war here. And you're right, Tucker. I find people in this space that are not anchored to faith, anchored to Jesus, they do lose their mind. Because there is no rational or reasonable explanation for what the country is doing to itself or what we are experiencing. But if you then see and you know that there is a God and we are not him, that there is an entire dimension of angels and demons and spirits that are constantly struggling around us, and that there is a supernatural dimension, as you mentioned, all of a sudden, that does then make sense. It does not make any rational sense to shut down your schools so you could sacrifice the kids so the elderly can live. That makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense whatsoever to keep your marijuana dispensaries open and your alcohol shops open, but the church non-essential. Only a demonic enterprise would do such a thing. Only a demonic enterprise would say that Easter and Pentecost are not essential, but race rioting and burning down a Wendy's is essential activity. And Tucker, you talk about this a lot. For those of us that know the truth, we know that our God is a God of order and distinction. What is the first thing that God did? In the Hebrew scriptures it says, well, and also our scripture in the original Genesis, Bereshit, which is in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and then he separated and he made sense, he made order out of chaos. Our God is a God of order, and order only comes with distinctions, and distinctions are necessary. Think about all the distinctions that God set up in the first 6 books of Genesis that are currently under attack. The distinction between male and female. The distinction between man and nature. The distinction between the holy and the profane. The distinction between good and evil. The distinction between infant and adult. These distinctions have always been what Western civilization were built upon. But it is Satan's goal to blur and eventually destroy those distinctions. Because those distinctions of which we get order, and if you do not have that order, then you have the closest thing to satanic chaos here.
That was Charlie Kirk for you, and this one was even very, very inspiring listening to that. That doesn't mean he didn't say, like I said, he said a whole lot of very on the edge controversial stuff, but I mean, he was just one of those figures, and I think he's going to live on beyond all of this. So let's go to the U.S. You know, we always like to begin with the presidency if there is something from the presidency. I got used to that kind of behavior while reporting at the executive mansion. So that's why when there is something from the presidency, we deal with that first. President Joseph, that's from executive mansion. President Joseph Newman Buckeye Sr. met with the family of the late Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Honorable Sylvester M. Grisby, ahead of the UNGA engagements in the United States of America. In a solemn and heartfelt meeting, President Buckeye expressed his deepest condolences and solidarity with the family of the late Minister Grisby, who served a nation with distinction and dedication. The President described the late minister as a true patriot and statesman whose invaluable contributions to Liberia will be forever remembered. Present at the meeting were Mrs. Cleopatra Grisby, widow of the late minister, and their daughter, Miss Mayumi Grisby. The Liberian leader extended words of comfort and appreciation to the family for sharing their beloved husband and father with the nation, emphasizing that Liberia will always honor his memory. He further assured the family of the government's commitment to preserving Minister Grisby's legacy and upholding the values of service, integrity, and patriotism that he embodied throughout his public life. In this regard, the President informed the family that a national memorial will be held in Liberia in honor of Minister Grisby, allowing the nation to pay tribute to his lifelong service and sacrifices. The meeting highlighted the President's respect for the enduring contributions of public servants and his recognition of the sacrifices by their families. So this is the second update since the President traveled to the U.S. about a week ago, or a little over a week ago. The first update came 4 to 5 days, that is 5 to 6 days ago, when he met with top LISCA officials in Washington, D.C. Since then, not much was heard until this update today. So we're still watching that space to see what happens, what comes from there. Okay, so for some reason I was on the Cardwell Road yesterday. For a while I haven't used that side, and boy oh boy, it is tough. It's very, very tough. And I feel for those of you living down there, what? It is really, really, really tough. But thankfully, we've heard from Public Works through Assistant Minister Rahim Bility that they have contracted a company to do rehabilitation during the dry season. So that's the only good news we have for you. Okay. That's the only good news we have for you. So that is that. So be upbeat. Public will say they see you, and be patient. They are coming your way. Okay, that's good. We want to take a whole lot of things are happening. So the University of Liberia, the board has reaffirmed its ban on student politics. They are talking about renewed violence that disrupted academic life earlier this month, and so as a result of that, they believe there's a ban on student politics. The Student Unification Party on campus is not taking that lightly. SU has been protesting today. They came as far as Central Monrovia. And quite interestingly, this is why we were always. Quite interestingly, some of those who supported these kinds of things in the past, they're all condemning soup now. Well, I have always stated that the way they do stuff, I don't think it is the right approach. I think campus politics and university leadership, those kinds of things have to become modernized, have to become better. I do not agree in spite of the issues that they may have. I think there should be better approaches. But those who gaslit those kinds of behaviors in the past, you see, that's why when we always speak, we always have to speak truth, no matter which side you're on, no matter what you think, because at the end of the day, it's going to come back to haunt you. And these are the kinds of problems we always talk about. Let's go to the governing Unity Party. I am trying to avoid discussing anything that will be part of the debate. The whole lot of things will be part. So we'll just be on the edge. We'll just be on the edge of different things. So the Verity Online News at the weekend reported that also the Unity Party, their headquarters in River G, because of inability to pay rent, they have relinquished it. But of course, their insignia, their logos and stuff are still on the building. They have spoken to the River G County Chair of Unity Party, J. Dowella Jr. He confirmed the news that handover of the party's former headquarters, explaining that the party struggled to secure funding from the National Executive Committee to cover rent costs. As a result, he and other local UP executives decided to relinquish the property to avoid further embarrassment from the owner. And they quoted him by saying, when we called for meetings, most partisans and supporters refused to attend because they feel left out after the elections, and we are in the minority with job opportunities. We cannot force people to attend meetings or activities at the party headquarters, especially where we have no significant engagement. Therefore, we had no choice but to officially return the building to its owner. Well, still with the governing party, they issued quite a statement on yesterday, that was on Sunday, where the Unity Party informs its partisans, supporters, and the general public that, in keeping with the constitution of the party and in defense of its values of accountability and discipline, the National Executive Committee, in a special sitting of September 13, 2025, reached a decision to suspend several of the NEC's members for delinquency in performing their party duties. Okay, interesting. Their suspension comes as a result of the persistent failure of the affected NEC members to attend official meetings of the National Executive Committee and their continuous neglect in participating in party activities, despite repeated reminders. The Unity Party views these acts of non-compliance and absenteeism as a neglect and complacency of the trust reposed in them and a violation of the obligations of every NEC member to contribute meaningfully to the growth and development of the party. Consistent with Articles 19 and 16, subsection 4 of the party's constitution, the affected NEC members are suspended for the period of 1 month and with a fine of 1,000 United States dollars payable to the Unity Party account during the period of their suspension and receipt presented during the next sitting. According to the resolution, any member who fails to comply with this mandate will be expelled from the NEC. Additionally, the special sitting also resolved to urge all delinquent due-paying members to pay their outstanding dues within a period of 1 month, as the sustenance of the party depends largely on party dues and contributions from partisans. Failure on the part of any executive committee member to pay his or her dues during the above specified period will be met with serious consequences consistent with the Unity Party constitution. The Unity Party reassures its partisans and the public of its commitment to upholding discipline, unity, and collective responsibility in building a stronger institution that serves the interest of the Liberian people. So 28 people were suspended. We're coming to call their names. And all of them have to pay 1,000 US dollars. 1,000. So that's 28,000 you'll be expecting between now. Today is the 15th of September to the 15th of October. United Party will be $28,000 richer if all these people pay. Ni Ala Vapla suspended. Matt Morris, Nyan D. Twine, Senator. Minister Francis Newmalin, Minister in Government, suspended. Minister Bemi Horace Colley, suspended. Minister Magdalene E. Dagoza, suspended. Lopu Kandakai, Richard Gafwan, Gizi K. Collins. Gizi Collins, a lawmaker, right? Yeah, suspended. J. Obadiah Vani, suspended. Mana B. Johnson, Madam B. Johnson, another honorable, suspended. Councillor Bushi Ben Keita, legal advisor to the president, suspended. Councillor Augustine Fire has been making the rounds on social media. We are told he's the Solicitor General. Is he still supposed to be an active party member? Well, he's suspended. Dr. Louis Koto, health minister, yeah, suspended. Kula Fofana, presidential spokesperson, suspended. Estonola Vapla, suspended. Josephine George Francis, suspended. Harrison O. Kai, suspended. Augustine Gaffan, finance minister, suspended. Nito Zelai, councillor, maritime, suspended. Minister Wilmot Pay, suspended. Galakbai Kotimai, suspended. James Fromayan, suspended. Joash T. Hodges, suspended. Julius Dennis, suspended. J. Alexander Nuta, minister, suspended. Geraldine Pia, minister, suspended. Julius Sele from Liz, suspended. So they say they've not. Why were they suspended? Persistent failure to attend official meetings of the National Executive Committee, and they are continuous neglect in participating in party activities. Is it that they are trying to obey the issue of the code of conduct? Yeah, you know, it's always going to come back. So it's a little complicated issue, and this is why we have always you should decide to do one. You either resign as a National Executive Committee member of the party and just leave it. But the same parties will say, "Oh no, why should they resign?" and blah blah blah. But if they don't want to be politically active because of their positions in government, then they should resign. Encourage them to resign. Huh? But all these names, they are active government officials. Very, very active. So imagine the finance minister being involved in party activities. Imagine the Solicitor General being actively involved in party activities and all of that. How is it going to look? You know? So this is why when we say some of these things, they still come back to haunt you people. And that's why we always speak truth. I do not think executive committee members are plenty. Yeah. You know. So they should resign. Even after the suspension and the paying of the 1,000 each, I think it is in their own best interest to either resign the government job and go be a United Party executive, or you resign the executive committee member. Just be a member of your party. However, the most telling one among all of these is the solicitor. How do you call it? Solicitor General, right? Yeah. Councillor Augustine Fire. Should he continuously be an executive committee member of a political party? I thought he's supposed to resign from all of that. You know, we are talking about the dispensing of justice here. So that one is quite important. Finally, before we take our calls, I believe our guests should be either here or around. Okay, someone is telling me something very interesting. Okay, so the management of OKFM and also of Front Page Africa, both entities have categorically categorically condemned the very terrible behavior of the information minister against our correspondent. So, in terms of newspaper, he writes for Front Page Africa. In terms of radio reporting, Franklin Dologui from Nimba reports for OKFM. The acts of intimidation, assault, and whatsoever carried out by the information minister, we condemn that. You can argue here and there and everything else. And I've told a whole lot of people, let's agree for the sake of argument that even though it is not true, the reporter did not misbehave, but let's say he misbehaved. There is no right for any official to tell someone, say, delete, or take their phone and delete item from there. No. There is a channel, there is a recourse. Complain the person to their entity and the PUL. That is how it is. But this is the whole thing beneath all of that. A whole lot of you need to know. This Franklin guy isn't liked by officials in that county because they see him as being critical. That's all. And so they influence other officials who are visiting the county and tell them stuff about him. Oh, you know the way they do us too now. When you say you're critical, yeah, that's how you are treated. And he's brave and doesn't care about what they think or what they do to him. That's how I've seen the young man to be. Even last week, we went to do the interview with the superintendent. When she came out of the studio, Franklin was the only person who kept being beyond for one question he wanted her to answer. Like the American journalists would do to officials, to Donald Trump, even the president. He was beyond. Madam Sue, he asked his question. She said, no comment. And he kept being beyond until she entered her car. Right to the car window, he went and still asked a question. She did not respond and she left. That is it. How can an information minister have issue with a particular question that is asked and then say, well, someone is video recording in a public space with an interview ongoing? I say, oh, they agree to an audio interview. So who told you that we can take audio from video? There are many instances that we've got audios from videos. And sometimes that audio quality is even better, especially when you're using a phone. So the whole situation was just wrong and condemnable. And we don't expect that in this day and age. Because someone asks a question that makes you angry, yeah, contain your anger, your emotions. You can choose to answer or not to answer. These things are simple. That's how other people do. Why the man asked, why the vice president boycotted? Okay, no, Mr. Reporter, the vice president did not boycott, so finish. That was the whole thing there. So the presentiment that, oh, this man, all they told me about in the man trouble, so you want to act critical, whole day, blah, blah, blah. So boom. You take an action. That's the whole thing behind it. That should not be happening. And indeed, we are proud of Franklin and his bravery. So that is that. Let's take some of the calls because I think my guests should be here. We don't want to have enough time for this debate. 777-700-995. I'll go deeper into all of these things that I just glossed over for the sake of time. 777-700-995. 555-995-995 are the numbers to call. But somebody is saying something very concerning here. Winston, just hold on. Let me read what someone is saying to me. Let me read what someone is saying to me. Very, very concerning. This person got. This person says, in regards to this, he's talking about the explosion. It's something that I expected because the white guy that is in charge always smoking cigarettes around that place. He was arrested before for that at the facility, and the officer only took money from him, around 150 USD cash, instead of taking legal action. I worked for them before, and that happened in my presence. I was there working that day when it happened. It was December 4, 2024, when that happened in my presence. Okay. Let's take your calls now. Winston Blatty, journalist, welcome.
Thank you, brother. What affects OK affects Banner and affects all journalists in this country. The government of Liberia cannot start or begin to blacklist media institutions of journalists. Like you rightfully put it, and the same thing I said on my show this morning was just fair enough to give an excuse to defend the vice president for not being part. But to see Frankie and say you are the one who report this and report that, it is bad, it is troubling. The minister abused his office. That's an abuse of power and an infringe on the rights of journalists in this country. And we use the time to call on the Minister of Information to kindly apologize to the OKFF family, and also call on our mother and brother to issue a statement condemning what happened to Frankie. Thank you so much, Julius.
Thanks so kindly as well for your call. I'm not one of those who can call people to apologize. I feel that if you tell someone to apologize for the apologize, then it's not from their heart. It is not real. We just condemn him for his very terrible behavior as information minister. That's the only thing we can do, and that he should not try it again. As information minister, you can behave. That you information minister. What kind of information minister doesn't like people to do video recording? They won't at his house again. He condemned it. He said he went somewhere again. You public official. You go play. He said, oh, the other time they wanted to do live video, you were somewhere chilling and all that kind of stuff. You public official. You won't be doing private. Sit down in your house. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Yeah, come on. Patrick Sowa Julius. As a good friend to OKFM and a professional man, I would like to condemn. Jeremy Pierre should have known better. Yesterday, Pierre was one of the guys who condemned Jefferson Kochi, saying that Kochi was passing around harassing journalists, beating people, harassing people. He condemned that yesterday. For Jeremy Pierre, there's no law in Liberia that says if a man or authorized to recall you, you should seize his phone. Jeremy Pierre, you should have known better. There's no law that says that. Go to court. It is just unfortunate. It is shameful. It is disgraceful. It is bizarre. It is hilarious. It is uncivilized. For such an act from an information minister of the Republic of Liberia. I'm sick and tired of this government, man.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks so kindly, Patrick Sowa, for your call. Welcome, and let's hear you.
Yes, Julius. Good afternoon.
Go ahead, let's hear you.
This is Ishaka Sharif, and I'm calling you from Caldwell.
Yeah, quickly.
Thanks for the program this afternoon, Julius. I think every well-meaning Liberian should condemn the Minister of Information. As a matter of fact, Julius, I find it difficult to understand why this minister cannot consider the fact that the Minister of Information is a very integral part of the communication ecosystem. Because the Ministry of Information and the PUL and journalists supposed to work together, but this minister is behaving as though the information ministry people can live in a different world, and journalists are their problem. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. Mr. Pia was on the pavement yesterday condemning everything about other people in terms of their dealing with media people. But I think he needs to readjust himself.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's take other people. I'm hearing that Mo is already here. Benedict Koluba, where are you? Both of them. If both of them are here, let them come in. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you, Julius. Good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, look, Julius, sometimes I want to speak on this Student Unification Party. But look, Julius, during our days from 1980 to this 90, there's no Student Unification Party. Because look, there's a difference in a political. Just imagine your laid back bag that you should be putting your pamphlet for safety. Now it has become a rack bag.
You said the bag they're supposed to put pamphlet in has become what?
A rack, our own single rack bag. You understand?
Yeah.
Because you just imagine many of them there. Look at their appearance. Sometimes, I mean, we know that you are advocating for a change, but their appearance sometimes, it looks different. I mean, it cannot be. Yeah, it looks so bad.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You know the whole thing about that soup there. Some of the most powerful people in this country, perhaps some of them in the studio, they pass through that soup there. Now, you know the way soup looking? Wait, soup, Ellington, opposition, all of them used to support soup. Eh? Then Ellen left from there. Then we are got there. All the opposition used to support soup. Now again, soup not for one person. So once you get in power, soup jada yaka korubaren. Once you get in power, they turn against you.
I agree with you. Like someone like James Romea, like Wolokoli, the other guys who were coming here. We knew that they were very moderate, man. I mean, the Student Unification Party now, they have 10 different terms. I don't want to lie to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so kindly. This will be the final one. Our guests are here. We have to give them time. We want to exhaust a whole lot of these things. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello? Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to the community. I'm Terry Somanina, and I phoned in for the headquarters of the Belgian Bureau this afternoon. And the statement emanating from the Minister of Julius, I think I need to be concerned. And some of the statements against an independent media entity, the Minister itself, who is the head of the Ministry of Information, have been making such a statement. And look what I said. That Mr.
No, it is not about statement. It's about behavior. In this case, it is something that he did.
Yeah, but if you appoint a juvenile to the Ministry of Information.
No. You can't do that one too. Sorry. How you go call the minister? You know what juvenile means? How you call the man juvenile? No, that is not it. So he did something that is not okay, and we are condemned. These things are simple to deal with. You can see the way American journalists can treat even Donald Trump, the president. There will be yearly questions behind Trump going to his lay plane. He chooses another answer, you not answer. He chooses a toy. But I go to someone and say, oh, delete this one from delete that other one. No, telephone, delete it from the person. No. Even if the person is wrong in your view, the recourse is to call their entity that so my consent was not given for so and this is a report of this is that. If the entity doesn't take action, you go to the PUL. That's how these things work. And he knows very well at this place we will take on that kind of thing. But of course, that was not the case. But this whole thing about, Franklin, either he critical, the other one, blah, blah, blah. But that's it. We have our guests with us, so we're not taking calls again. We have Muhammad Ali, that's his actual name, of the Unity Party, here with Benedict Koluba of the CDC as well. No. I like actually wanted to say headquarterless CDC. Yeah? Is that okay?
They didn't get headquarters, they can be political party.
Anyway, that is not what we're going to discuss. But let's say more welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Julius, and I'm happy to be here with my longtime friend, former Minister Benedict Koluba.
Was he your direct head at the ministry at that time?
Well, so there was a shift. At some point, I was a director, and I think he was assisting, and then at some point, he became the assistant minister. So yes, directly.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the work that you did, in terms of the line of communication, was it?
Yeah, I was in his department.
Oh, okay, good. There is a reason I want. What? Wow.
Because assistant directors will put directly to the assistant minister, so assistant minister supervises director.
But I have not brought you in here. Wait. So, welcome from Assistant Minister Koluba.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Like he said, he's my colleague. But care for the record to be straight, he was a director at the Ministry of Finance, director for WASH, and I was a fellow specialist for economic transformation fellow in the unit of PDCU, and there was a different director. So he was a director somewhere else, and I was in another unit.
Okay.
When I became assistant minister, he was still a director, and he became my.
Okay, so were you
supervisor?
Were you part of those that were trying to send him? And put your phones on silent. That the main reason I asked that question. The other thing you're explaining are the thing I was driving. Were you part of those that were trying to send him to Grand Crew?
Part of. He was the one who sent me to Grand Crew.
So listen. I want you to explain the story.
No, you're not explaining. I'm asking you. I'm asking you directly. Did you sign the letter that sent him to Grand Crew?
You know there is a confidential thing between Mo and myself on that letter. Except he wants me to tell the public.
There is no confidential thing there.
I'm not. I was in the HR director, or I was in the minister, so I don't sign employment letter or transfer letter. I didn't sign that letter. But confidentially, I protected Mo Ali from going to Grand Crew. Asking, he never voted.
Okay.
No, I resigned though. Don't talk about he never voted there. I resigned.
No, you didn't go to.
Yeah.
Because I resigned.
When he was transferred. And let me confess this today. Maybe he doesn't want to say. When he was transferred.
Say when I was demoted.
He was transferred, right? When he was transferred to coordinate activities in Grand Crew, because of our relationship, I called him. I said, "Mo, I'm going to do something for you." He said, "What's that?" And I'd like the public to know that. I said, "Well, you know what I'll do? I want you to get right. I'm going to write an email to the minister and say, you are going, because in any case, you are going to be under me. So I'm going to do orientation for you before you go to the counties." And he was in Morocco for 2-3 months until he resigned.
So let's get that.
I'm just saying that.
Let me set that record straight.
I was one of the person who was protecting him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me set that record straight. I refused to go to Grand Crew on several bases. One, the Ministry of Finance does not have a director level equivalent position in any county. What they have is an assistant director level equivalent position. Now, when you send me to a county, it means that you are demoting me. Number two, because I did not go to, they transferred me at the end of September. They transferred to take effect October. When they transferred me, they gave me 1 month period of adjustment to go. October. The other 2 months, that thing he protected me. Go and check the record. They blocked me from the payroll. I never got my pay. Today when I made something to attend, say I can't get my pay. November, December, they never pay me.
Okay.
So there was no protection there.
I do know, and the records that you need to state is that I wrote the ministry that you are going to stay in town for orientation.
Okay. Good.
So I was actually protecting you.
Now we
it was not harm to say that what this is what Ben did for me, right? When I was transferred, he wrote the administration that he was
orientating. I wasn't going there.
Okay.
No, whether or not, but at least I provided
perfect. So, in this debate, we don't want talking across the board. We should respect our colleague when they are in flight. Sorry, I didn't bring my iPad, but we will be timing everything. I'll make sure to make use of this one in my hands. So we will start as the thematic areas are arranged with the first one. In fact, the most significant one is the economic pillar, state of the economy. So let me go to the clock first of all before. So Mo, we will start with you in 4 minutes to give us an assessment of the state of the economy that you took over, and you can go deeper, but of course, That's like 4 minutes to do that. So your time. Hold on. Yeah, your time starts now.
Thank you, Julius. Normally economic data are given from year on. So I'll start up with 2024. So Liberia's economy in 2024 expanded according to the World Bank, and all the report I'll give you, at least for now, World Bank report. Liberia economy expanded by 4.8% in 2024, and it was projected to expand by 5.3% in 2025. And this expansion is mainly because of expanded activities in the mining sector, in the services sector, and the agricultural sector because of the agricultural recovery, the programs that we've put into place. The industrial sector expanded by 6%, which is driven by iron ore, gold mining, construction. We took over construction business increase, and while the service sector grew by 4.2%, which is boosted by finance, hospitality, trade, and transport. Agricultural output rose by 3.5%, up from 1.4%. So just within that space, agricultural output increased by 3.5%, and this reflected higher production in the agricultural sector. Inflation eased to 8.4% in 2024 from 10.1% in 2023. Policy rate remain holding 20% for most of the year before dropping to 17% in the last quarter. The exchange rate depreciated by 8% on average, which is an improvement from 12% in 2023. Food inflation, which is very, very important, fell to 9.7% by December 2024, down from 26.9% a year earlier, that was in 2023. And while imported fuel saw this inflation in 10.4% from previous inflation of 13%. The economic outlook for 2025 remains good, and as a matter of fact, while we acknowledge that there are challenges, the overall fiscal deficit in the country shrank to 2.7% from a GDP of 7.1% a year earlier, while the primary deficit declined to 1.5% from 6.1%. This improvement again was largely due to a 4% GDP reduction in public spending. Now, all of these things have culminated to some of the things that we see happening today. It has given the leverage to government to be able to reduce prices of basic commodities that we see on the market today, and also stabilize the supply of these basic commodities. Since we took over, we've now seen lines lined up from Douala to Central Monrovia, people queuing for rice. We've now seen women jumping over fence to buy rice. We've now seen Kimbos, taxi drivers in general, from one street to the other, either looking for petroleum products to buy or queuing for petroleum products. We've seen significant drop in transportation from Monrovia to places that will not easily possible. Thank you.
Thanks. So kindly we come to you, Benedict. The state of the economy that the Unity Party government inherited. What can you say about that? Your time starts now.
I will start by a proposition telling you that the CDC inherited a fluttering or deteriorating economy from Unity Party in 2017, and we gave them a better economy than what they gave us. And so I can start by telling you, first, before you come to today's reality, I like to go behind. Unity Party succeeded herself in 2012. That is, election was 2005, they took over 2016, 2006, and then the re-election took place, they came by 2012. So I gave the first 6 years as a foundational year, and I start from 2012. In 2012, the GDP growth was around 7.9%. By the time they were turning over to us, GDP growth dropped down to 2.5%, which is a deterioration. Where can you find that 2017 Central Bank report? You can go on page VI, you will see the report there. That is 68% or 68.3% deterioration in GDP growth. Now, when we were leaving, what was the GDP growth? We left it at 4.6 in 2023. Central Bank 2023 report, and you can find an increment in there about 4%, find it on page 6. What does that mean? It means that we inherited a deteriorating or a fluctuating economy from the Unity Party after 12 years. When we left, we get a better economy. This is the key message, because anytime you see the institute say, we got bad economy. We inherited a bad economy from UP and we get them. I'd like to go first to inflation. Inflation in 2012 was around 6.9%, and Unity Party deteriorated inflation to 12.5% in 2017. When we took over, even though we brought it down to 7, but when the year ended, it was 10.1%. So meaning that there was a reduction in that. You can find that on the Central Bank report of 2023 on page 6. Everything I'm saying is in the Central Bank report. And so, because we were able to build that kind of stability while we turned over to the Unity Party, was better than what we received from them. One major indicator that they boast of is the GDP. For example, real GDP. Unity Party could not move liberal GDP from 2017, from 2016 or 2005 up to 2017. The GDP could not even reach $1 billion. It moved from 2017 from $800 million to $900 million. In 6 years' time, we moved GDP almost, we moved it to $3.6 billion. That is more than 300% increase in GDP. And so, today's conversation is about narrating the truth that, look, we gave a better economy to the Unity Party than they gave to us in 2017. Now, that which we gave to them, how are they managing it? This is the conversation maybe at the next week, but I can say to you today, for the Liberian people to know that we gave a better economy to Unity Party. For example, U.S. exchange rate. When Unity Party left in 2017, in 2012, the exchange rate was 72.4. Before they left in 2012, the exchange rate went up to 125. That is about 72% increase in the deterioration of the U.S. rate. When we left it at 174. 174 is about 39%. So they deteriorated the currency for almost 72%. And we came in at 39%. So who destroyed the economy? The central bank is reporting on that. It's not me, it's not Benedict Culver. You can find that in the central bank reports of those years. So yes, we turned over a very good economy to the Unity Party, and they are not being able to manage it.
Okay, your time is out. Exactly on the dot. We come back to more one. You have the time to respond to whatever he has said now, plus a further explanation about the state of the economy. Can you do you agree with the argument that a whole lot of people have been making, that they handed over a bad economy, that you inherited a bad economy in 2024, that they destroyed the economy? I want to give you 3 minutes to deal with that. Mm-hmm.
The first thing I'd like to thank Benedict for is the fact that he has admitted that we are doing very well with the economy. When I stated my opening comments on the economy, I did side-by-side analysis. What we took in 2023 and what we are doing now. For everything that I said, when I say this one for 40.9% in 2023, in 2023 is now 24.8%. When I say 0.8% in this year in 2023 is now 0.5%. So if we say the economy expanded by this one, we took it from where? We say, for example, agricultural output rose by 3.5% from 1.4%. Which one is better? Now, if this argument is that they set a better foundation, That argument is inherently flawed. Why is the argument flawed? Because when we took over, we first had to reset the clock to 12 midnight to begin working. Most of the economic policies, we had to revise them with the help of partners. We had to revise some of the monetary policies. Some of those bad policies, we had to revise them and fine-tune them that make us today setting on a track where we can revive and recover the economy. For example, what were some of the policies they had that caused inherent and consistent shortage of gas or petroleum product on the market? Some of the cost drivers that they had there was just absolutely terrible. My friend and brother Amos took over LPRC along with other sector players. They managed it, the research, and they abstracted these cost drivers and threw them out. That created the opportunity for marketers to bring in more products. Until recently, in fact, they've started. Some of the cost drivers were rice. Why was there consistent shortage of rice on the market? Why were there consistent high prices of rice on the market? Was because of the kind of policies, self-sustaining policies that they have. We have to eliminate those policies and set good policies that made people to get interested, that coerced the policies, made importers to decrease their prices. It's not forcing them, but it's the sound economic policies that we put into place. Today I'm looking at that time. Of course, look at other things. Recently, when the president constituted the committee, the marvelous job that the vice president is doing, you are hearing regular and voluntary reduction in prices like flour, like eggs, and other things. Some of the things...
Time is out. Thanks so kindly. Benedict, you have 3 minutes as well to respond to him on these points, but also on the fact that he said you had some very terrible policies in place, especially around key commodities like petroleum products and rice.
Hold on, sir.
So it is your time. You have 3 minutes. Let's take it easy. 3 minutes to respond to these claims that he made before we move on to the next point.
So we inherited a buy economy to price on the market. Nobody from the economists from the Unity Party cannot tell me what is the foundation of the buy economy that they inherited. I have given you foundational macro data that shows that we even inherited a buy economy from them, and we set the economy on track. The economy that we set on track is left with them to be able to move forward. If we let GDP growth at 4.6, and you're telling me the next year GDP growth was 4.9, what is that? And that growth has not changed. It's just mining. Because you brought ArcelorMittal and we expanded their services, that money is not coming within the Liberian economy. It's sitting outside of the Liberian economy. That is the reason why you're not feeding the E-part, because when you mine gold and diamond, the poor people don't get benefit from it. You only take the royalty from there and hire, how they call it, private jets for the president, pay more money to the president to travel. It doesn't trickle down on the economy. So that's not economy he's talking about. What we're talking about is, if the Unity Party government claimed yesterday that we destroy the economy, it is those destruction that I really thought that we have been discussing here. But if you say the economy grew by this, by 4.9%, where it started from 4.6, but we took it from 2.5. This is the narrative I want the Liberian people to hear. The other side about it, price on the market, those are again latent things. Look, Julius, when the world was facing a crisis, they set a committee called the Bretton Committee to do analysis of the economy of the world. And we came up with what we call the Millennium Development Goal. To West Africa, when Macky Sall was facing problem in his country, he developed what we call the PDCU, Emergency Project Development. When a country faces a national calamity like this, you pull experts together to come up with a long-term solution. The issue about it's disastrous for you to tell me that LPRC is a regulator, at the same time an importer, at the same time setting rules for the game. It violates all economic theories and principles. Whether be a neo-colonial economic theory, whether be a capitalist theory, the government cannot be setting price at the same time. If LPRC had relinquished the regulatory arm or the regulatory function, and I like an importer and feed that burden. Remember, the tariff they are talking about, it's just all layers things they are talking about. LPRC is not going to be paying those tariffs. It's unfair. If LPRC wants to import, let it go under the same conditions. So the economy that we inherited.
Your time is out. Thanks so kindly, sir. We move on to the next point. I will begin that one with review, and these ones will be 2 minutes each. I will begin that with you, Benedict Koluba.
Julius will have 2 hours. I think we should have longer time.
No, there are too many things to talk about. So you just
the
relax.
foundational issue is the economy.
Yeah, so relax.
Okay.
The question I want to ask you is: you are claiming that you handed over to them a good foundation.
Well, definitely.
For an economy. In 2 minutes, I want you to tell us: are they managing what you handed over to them well? Are they doing well with it? Are they keeping it on track? Hold on, sir. Are they keeping it on track? Are they declining? Are they making progress? In 2 minutes.
They are declining. Central Bank of Liberia 2025 May trend report, page 1. Central Bank is reporting as of June. I'm speaking of published data. Inflation went up to 13.7%. In that same report, Central Bank is reporting that the debt of the country has moved up to $2.6 billion. In that report, Central Bank is telling the world that in less than 1 year, in the 2024 report, on page, Central Bank is reporting that the government of President Boakai borrowed $417 million just in 1 year. So let's multiply that by 6. 4 times 6 is 24. So if that pace continues, Liberia will be in debt of, they will accumulate additional debt of almost $2.5 or $2.8 billion added to the current one we have. Are they managing the economy? No, they are not managing the economy. What they're doing is, we got something we call activities report. You thought the activities, but it doesn't translate into impact. They're not managing the economy. I can go further and tell you that even our reserve position right now has dropped. We left reserve at $545 million. Right now, reserve is around $476 million. CBR 2024 report, page 44. So how do you tell me that if something happened in a country that have reserve looking, if something happened in a country, the player who can go and be managing, you will reduce that for more than $68 million. Inflation is going up. How do you tell me that you are managing what we gave you? We took reserve from them from 517, we carried to almost $598 million. So we handed, I will continue to maintain, even in the arrest agenda, they projected.
Your time is out. Thanks so kindly, sir. We will come back to Mo Ali. In terms of current outlook, that's where we're going. He is suggesting that they hand it over to you a good foundation, and you are scattering the house. You just putting all kinds of bricks there. What do you say to that?
So, Julius, few things. You know, when we come to the debate, we should come to the debate with truth. The CBR report for the second quarter states that the inflation moderated from 12.5% to 11.1%, which is still high by our standard.
When you say second quarter, what do you mean?
Second quarter, that means from I think March to June or so. He has just stated that the inflation is 13%, which is false. And you know, these are
so it means that both of you are not reading from the same report.
No, I'm reading from CBR report.
No, which report? Yes.
No. Hold on.
So,
which you mean for 2025?
Yeah, for
second quarter.
2025 second quarter.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about here. Now,
no, Benedict, leave it. I will come back to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, like I said, the economic outlook for 2025, based on the foundation that we set in 2024, as even projected by the World Bank, the IMF, the African Development Bank, the economy is growing by more than 4.5% this year. And this can be seen in purchasing powers. This is the single reason why the government is able to pay employees in time and on time. This is the single reason why the government has been able to increase salary for more than 23,000 civil servants. This is the reason why the government has been able to increase income of security sector people by a good margin, the health sector people, and this is the reason why the government is bringing on board more volunteer health workers. This is the reason why the government is opening up the country. That today, my comrade can
your time is up. So, sorry, but I will remain with you on this one. Some of you people are talking may be centered around bread and butter. The bread and butter issues
exactly.
They are still ahead. So let us deal with what these issues are now. Let's settle on this, and I will put the watch down for that on the issue of the report. I know I cannot go and be checking for that report now, but in terms of what report both of you are talking about, I want us to settle down on it before we move on. Mo, you said you were reading from the second quarter CCBL report.
Yeah.
Second quarter. It says the inflation is around 11%.
11.1% from 12.5%.
The monthly economic review, June 2025, volume 11, number 6. Central Bank report says, and I gave you the page number. It says that inflation as of June was around 13.7%. Central Bank 2025 May Economic Review, page 1. But that page 1 in that report, for some technical thing, the way they set it up is a little bit way down. So, but it's marked page 1.
Okay.
I can send you that report right now. Central Bank says that, and I'm giving you
the
page number.
I just wanted us to be specific because I know my fact checkers will be looking at that.
So Julius,
giving you the report title.
Also, you know, this time it's easy. The fact checker can just do it right here. Just type
that is why.
Just type in Google Liberia's inflation as of July, and you will see the first page you see there when you type in Google. In July 2025, Liberia's inflation rate was 11.1%.
No, but he was
reported by the Central Bank of Liberia in their July 24, 2025 Monetary Policy Committee communique. This represented a slowdown from 12.5% inflation in the first quarter.
So, but it is possible both of you might be saying different because he said he's reading from a June report. And you were talking about a July report.
Of course.
So
you have to make the second quarter report at the end of the quarter, not within the quarter.
So if you are talking about June, then it means his July is the most recent one. Do you agree with him?
I don't agree with him.
Why not?
Because Central Bank publishes the report as of June. So if there is another report Central Bank published, I will see it. Google, look, I can put anything on Google and Google will take it. By the time you go there, the last memory will count. The reason why I don't go to Google and say Google gave me this is that the Central Bank is the most credible entity for data for
Julius,
macro analysis.
I don't think we should waste
for macro analysis on our country from the World Bank and on the IMF. Here's the report it reads. The report reads. The report says core inflation led by food, transportation, blah blah blah, slowed down by 20% point and 13.7%.
Okay, so that's okay. I just wanted us to be sure of that particular point. So when we are fact checking, we know what we are fact checking. So we move on. I will begin this one with you, Benedict.
It would be good for him to state the date of that report.
Yeah, he said it. He said
it.
June.
In this report I'm reading from, says July.
Okay.
So July 16.
We made progress.
Yeah.
We made progress. In terms of job creation, Benedict called about one of the key things that has besought, that has been quite an Achilles heel for all governments is job creation and even reporting on job creation to actually tell, the amount of jobs created and all those kinds of things in 3 minutes. Since it is a key thematic area, what can you say about job creation currently? Perhaps also, did they inherit a good foundation for job creation, and all those kinds of arguments can be placed there. Your time begins now.
So I told you that we set a foundation for the economy which was better than what we received. In terms of job creation, you know, our country, and like other countries in West Africa, we've not been able to establish a mechanism to timely collect job data, except it's from the HIES or from the thematic analysis of the census. And you go to the thematic analysis of the census, it will tell you that. But I can tell you, in 2015, the Unity Party conducted what we call a survey, right, on jobs. That survey report was never published because they were looking for weighting average, and it was never published. Did we lay foundation for jobs? Yes, we lay foundation for job creation. What were those foundations? When we took over, and I think we missed it all with this, there wasn't a clear picture of what Liberia job situation was, because the government employs more people than anywhere except from the rubber sector. So there was a confusion. There wasn't a standard payroll system. The whole government was just collecting money, eating. So the foundation we laid was to be able to create room to invest in the private sector. And so we reduced the wage bill, and then we have money now to position in public sector intervention. Those public sector, because when the government takes pay, 65 to 70,000 of people get benefit directly from the government. Beyond that, they don't get benefit, except you go into capital investment before they get benefit. And that is what we did. And then we open up an opportunity for private sector investment. So yes, we laid the foundation, very, very good foundation for employment within the economy. We laid the foundation for jobs to come within the economy. How did we do that? In the agriculture sector, for example, when the last step ended, we developed agriculture sector investment plan, which the whole intent for that was we'll provide, if I were adding value, we'll provide macro loan, we'll provide grants to farmers. We're even paying young people under the YOP program to be able to provide services for farmers so that they can grow more food. So on the basis of that, the PAPD was putting more jobs within the agriculture sector. In infrastructure, if you saw around, right now, 95% of the road contracts that are currently being implemented were signed by us. So those are all jobs. But at a national level, as a country, the country hasn't been able to establish a clear database.
Why?
Because in the census, there's one data that you need. For example, in the census report. So once we do census...
Your time is out. Your time is out. We will perhaps more or more can help to answer that question. More in terms of job creation. What did you inherit, and
So,
how are you addressing that?
I will not give you 100% figures, but I will give you figures. I know the CDC was very lazy to collect data. Job creation, when we took over, those that we brought directly on payroll and some major private sector, health worker volunteers, we've been able to transition 592 from voluntary status to employment status. In community health, 81. Interns and medical doctors, 43. Pharmacists, 44. So in the health sector alone, we've added 760 jobs. Ongoing, we are doing recruitment for around a total of 800 health workers. Now, in the education sector, they've submitted personnel action notices for 2,000 volunteer teachers and new teachers. Of these, 458 have been processed. They are now on payroll. They will be on payroll as of October 2025, and the rest, 1,542, have been worked on. In the profession, and these are professional people. So let me just sum it up for you: health worker, 760, education, 458, and that does not take into consideration all the other places. Now let me go with you quickly to the private sector, and I'll give you data from January 2024 to June 2025. When you look at the employment statistics for some of the places, for example, B Mountain has been able to employ 4,671 according to their statistics. And Sethi Brother.
Is it total or just within a period?
Well, the data here say total employed from January 2024 to June 2025. You have B Mountain, you have Sethi Brother 2,000 plus.
Let me just pause the time, so that we understand that point. Is it like their total employment over time, but it doesn't say like the number employed between 2024 January to current, right? It is the total employment to current.
So it's the total employment to current. I was giving that and then give you the total new jobs created.
Okay, good.
Right?
Good.
So because of time, I will just go straightly to the total new job created.
Let's deal with that.
Total new job created for B Mountain is 1,904. For Sethi Brother is 813. For AML, that's Ashilo Mittal, that's a total of 1,080. For Firestone Liberia, a total of 1,297. So that is a huge total. Now, he talks about road. These are sectors that we have impacted on very, very critically, that is creating more jobs. Like the Minister of Public Works said the last time, the overpass bridge is going to create jobs for more than 100 Liberians. You have road work going on in my friend's Lofa County in the southeast, and road work going to commence beginning this month up to next month in the Cape Mount corridor, in the Bombing corridor, which will create more. So we
time is up. Thanks so kindly. We'll hold you there. And let me start the next one with you. Bread and butter. We always talk about bread and butter. All these numbers you people calling the bread and butter issues. So let me give you 4 minutes. Since bread and butter issues are at the heart of Liberian people, let me give you 4 minutes, and then we'll go to Benedict for 4 minutes as well, in terms of bread and butter issues. What are you doing to address bread and butter issues?
So Julius, firstly, the bread and butter issues are factors that are driven by several things in the economy, right? Number one, transportation. Number two, the input into the agricultural sector. Number three, the price relating to petroleum products, market prices. Now, what are the major concerns? What are the major bread and butter issues in this country? What are the major factors? Agriculture, like I told you, under us, agriculture output rose by 3.5% from 1.4%. What does that mean? It means that there are now more people going into the agriculture sector, employed into the agriculture sector, and they are putting more money in their pockets. Besides that, the petroleum products. Before some of the things that were fueling high prices was the high cost and the shortage, the persistent shortage of petroleum products on the market. Do we see that today? No. What do we see is a consistent decrease in the cost of petroleum products, which is helping to save people more money. Because if you were, for example, paying $5 for a gallon of gas, you're now paying $4 or less, you are saving, and that helps you to spend on other things. Cost of rice. One of the things that brings chaos in this country. When we took over, it was $17.50. $17.50. Today, the wholesale price is now around $14. That is a drop by $3 plus. Flour. When we took over, it was $44. It has dropped by 44, around there. It has dropped by $5, which is going to save people. Some of all bread and milk, Julius saying, you now buy bread at a lower cost. Then you come to egg. Costs are dropped by $10. During Benedict time, it was $60. Today, it's either $50 or lower. Then you come to transportation. For example, the people in the faraway counties, Bapulu, the southeast, part of Nimba, Lofa, when somebody bought a rice from here and they are taking it to the southeast, they spend 2 weeks on the road. That is going to increase their cost because the time delay, they will add it there. The transportation, they will add it there. Today, if you're going to Maryland, you take between 7 to 8 hours. So it means that people can easily transport their goods from wherever they're buying it to those far away places. What does it mean? Saving time, which is money in transportation, saving money on transportation cost, and that reduces the cost. And you can do your survey, Julius. Go all over and ask, what's the price of rice? What is this? These things are helping. The next thing that helps the bread and butter issue is the issue of salaries. When people work, no matter how small their salaries are, they must be able to get it in time. They must be able to get it on time so that they can be able to purchase. Purchasing power. And unlike Benedict time, we've not stolen money from central bank to pay government employees. It's strictly from the revenue we are generating. So salaries coming on time help people to plan, and when you plan, it eases the bread and butter issues. It's also helping people to move about easily. Now, I can sit here and go to Cape Mount the next day.
Your time is out. Thanks. So kindly we go to Benedict on bread and butter issues. Mr. Koluba, your 4 minutes start now.
So, Julius, I see why our country is moving the way it is moving. If people don't understand the fundamental macro issues and making policy pronouncement that the MD who criticized us yesterday for blotting payroll according to him will sit in the studio and tell the Liberian people putting health workers on salary that job creation. When you ask me for job creation, we're not talking about government wage bill. I told you in the first place, government employ people when they take pay. What happened? Only 60,000, 70,000 of people work with government. After they take pay, what happened to the rest of the people? If you multiply that by 5, maybe 350,000 benefit every month. So when we're talking about job creation in the context of the PAPD, if we were counting job creation, in the first place, you've removed 5,000 people from on the payroll. And you say you're creating job? We brought in from the FARA program more than 2,000 health workers. So we were not counting, when we're talking about job creation, we're not counting government poor people on payroll, sentimentality about somebody supported me and getting a job. If we're counting that, CDC provided more jobs than the Unity Party. But when you're talking about secure job, you're talking about job where people can get their livelihood from. How many new businesses have you brought online? How many farmers are doing farming as business? This is focused macroeconomic issue when you're talking about bread and butter issue. So I will now move to the bread and butter issue. What we said on the PAPD was, we were not, look, Julius, today you can have money. The way they do census, today you can have money, they say $1.25. When we can't do the census in 1 week time, you are having money. When we take your information, we will not consider you as poor. But the next month you don't have that money, you go back to poverty. But the report has gone that Julius is not poor. So we said we're focusing on what we call income security. That means where people can get their livelihood from and it's permanent. And the places they get it from is in agriculture. For example, the palm farmers increased under the CDC regime because under the STARP program, under all our programs, we're giving money to farmers, cocoa farmers. If you check now, cocoa produce is increasing gradually because of the investment we made in the cocoa sector. So job creation, maybe this is the arrest economist. Job creation is to put people on payroll. So it means that let's provide opportunity for more people to get on the payroll. If I told you we build a foundation, the major reason why we're here is that message that, you said 4 minutes, that message that we destroy the economy. Everything that MD will boast of in roles, 95%, I can challenge him to name me any role, new role or role that the contract was signed by this government besides the 22 million money road that was done. 95% of road pavement that you see in this country, we secure the funding and sign the contract and work started on those roads. Because why? We knew that moving services to the people require access to road. So if we lay that foundation for you, when you come and be moving on that foundation, you should give credit. And he will admit, if you go to Water and Sewer, for example, I don't know what a new project he has signed there. He can, except maybe the 250,000 Senator Corner gave him, and he went and pulled it in the hole in Bapolu, maybe from the budget. But in terms of financing, we signed almost all the financing agreement and contracts for those sectors. So yes, we provided opportunity that services will move to the county. That's why when you saw the President County Tour, we were bringing on infrastructure to be able to move to the counties. So all 95% of the roads that they boast of,
your time
we signed
out.
contracts.
Thanks so kindly. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We're having a debate with two fine gentlemen of Liberia, Muhammad Ali of the Unity Party and Benedict Koluba of the CDC. A disclaimer: I don't like bread the way Mo made it to appear. So it was important to put that out there. Now we move on to the next thematic area. And that area is, and by the way, a whole lot of people are praising both of you out there in terms of the civil nature of the debate and how educative it is to them. So we pray that we continue along that line. So government reforms, one of the most controversial ones has been the civil service. So we will give 3 minutes each to look at. No, you can suggest in the middle of the game. You cannot suggest in the middle of the game. So we'll start with civil service in terms of government reforms. What have you done with the civil service? Mo Ali, 3 minutes.
Well, what we've done with the civil service is not any secret. You know, Honorable Josiah Joker has been on here so many times and on many other platforms to talk about the serious reforms that they've done. Now, you first did talk about the challenges. We inherited a payroll system that is riddled with integrity risks. Workforce stood at 746 employee monthly wage bill, very high. The GAC flag, 9,297 unverified employees. Then they were taking that money, putting it in their pocket. 1,000 consultants they were seeing nowhere, and a lot of them. These names, what the CSA did, they took on a reform process. They launched the employee status regularization, and they did that to clean the payroll. They cut out fictitious names from in the payroll, and when that happened, they were able to save government in monetary term. So this CSA where government allocated more money, to other sectors, and they're also now able to bring on real human beings on board instead of the ghost names that Benedict Koluba had there. They also migrated the payroll system, the compromised payroll system. They have migrated it now to the ATAP system that will see, to the civil service module that will now tell you if Benedict is employed in the sector, he is going to get. Besides that, they have introduced an e-pay slip system. The e-pay slip system will tell you when you take your pay, they'll send it to you electronically, and you know that you've taken your pay. It is recorded. So they've also expanded the refund tool. Now you have a one-stop system. Soon they've launched the one-stop system. That is a platform where they integrate the employment and credential verification. You don't got to go on the side, you look for this one, you go on that side, you look for that one. Leave requests and things, they are now very steady. The performance management and biometric time attendance, they are now facing that in, so that I don't come and sign in and go to my house, or I sit down 1 week, I go to the finance ministry, I sign all those dates. Also, they are digitizing the HR management system.
Your time is out. Thanks. So kindly we'll go to Benedict Koluba on the issue of civil service reform. Your first analysis of what they've done in 3 minutes?
Julius, they have lied on the civil servants. They have done nothing. I can give you history. In their studio, the Comrade Ali tells me, he and myself were at Finance Ministry. If he was on civil servant payroll when 2 or all were to Finance Ministry, I would walk out of the debate and tell him that I succumbed to him. When United Party was leading the country for 12 years, the reason I'm here is they make the situation to appear like you ran the country for 12 years. In 2014, the USAID and the CSA themselves did a payroll verification audit, and they realized 3 things. I will share those reports with you. They realized that there was a dual and dangerous payroll system where people are being paid on by different means. That report is in what we call the Liberia, payroll reform strategy 2014 Civil Service Agency. So in that process, people at Ministry of Finance, he was denied it. He was making $3,500 as director. And so the USAID in 2017 launched a study on that, and they reported April 2018 that look, the way the payroll system, if you don't work on it, the government cannot do anything. That's the reason why the payroll, the salary was just increasing. We in the assessment of 2020 from the USAID project, here is what they wrote on the findings and conclusion on page 9. They say what? The current pay and payroll reform initiative has been successfully implemented across all 107 government spending entities, including all ministry, agency, commission, resulting into standardized salary readjustment for all personnel in GOL workforce and reported salary reduction between 25 to 70% to many of the higher incomes. In July 2029, all desperate GOL personnel, repositories, and all the previous non-uniform salary and compensation schedule have been collapsed. Now there is one consolidated personnel repository containing 73,507 UL workforce personnel and one collapsed salary scheme, and to pay them one payment, one employee. What were they saying? They were now grading the job we did. When Mo Ali and myself were at the Finance Ministry, we were now at CSA staff. In fact, other agencies, they had 3 pays. So for him to tell me that they've done nothing on the payroll, all they are doing, moving seditions and bringing United Party people on the payroll. So we set the system, everything we did. If I were the president, you get me one MAE director to run the CSA. Because when we did the payroll, government, they didn't have payroll system. Her workers were not even part of the allowance system. So we brought them on the payroll. So we did a very major reform. All they needed to do was to follow up.
Time out. Thanks so kindly. I'll begin the next point with you, or you... Let me begin the next point with you, then I'll come back to him, which will be for 2 minutes. So let's reset the time.
Yeah, I really want to continue on this.
Yeah, it is about harmonization. Because it is one of the key aspects of...
Harmonization can be 2 minutes.
So hold on. We will give, since it was quite controversial during the elections, we still have a whole lot to go through. So we'll give it 3 minutes for harmonization to actually tell us what it was and what it is now, and then we'll come to more on that point, plus in response to some of the things that you've also said. 3 minutes.
So I said to you, I'm reading a report from the USAID in 2018, and these are the things they found on the payroll that Union Party left with us. Number 1, they said the payroll lack all over governance and coordination accountability structure. And there is no government-wide management structure of the framework within the GOL or coordinating effort. Lord Julius, I will just stop here without explaining further. Go ask Josiah Joke, who is at the CSA. He was working at, how do you call the place? Small Arm Commission. If he tells you that he was on CSA payroll, I will leave from the studio. Minister Amara Kone was the last minister I worked under him before Boyma Kamara left. Ask Minister Amara Kone whether there was a national payroll system that he used to pay on. I will leave the studio. Ask Minister Gaffon, he was the finance minister by that time, whether they know I used to pay people by hands and take the pay, whether he had a central payroll system. I will leave the studio. So on the issue of the payroll, we did the greater work, and because of that, the Union Party canvassed and lied to the people that when they come, they will get revised it. Today, harmonization cannot be revised. And why did we do harmonization? Because The government was collecting money. All the money was going in a pot on payrolls, on salaries. The partner said, this is not sustainable because we are going to leave. The government will have to take on responsibility on projects. In fact, during the Union Party time, almost 95% of the projects that were done were funded by donors or partners because there wasn't space to do that. And so, yes, we set the pace for the payroll. The harmonization intent was to make sure that ministers stop making 15,000, 17,000. Directors of finance ministers stop making 3,500 as compared to director of Ministry of Agriculture that couldn't even make $500. That is the reason why we took that bullshit. It wasn't an easy decision to make, but we made that decision, and some of the places we became unpopular because of that measure. So payroll integrity, we brought integrity to the payroll. When we did the payroll, we didn't stop there. We took the payroll now and send it to the GAC and say, you know what? We have done something. Come and critique what we have done. What we call that troubleshooting. You can do your system here, your technician can set up the system. If you want to test the system, you do troubleshooting. And with that troubleshooting, what are the issues we identify? One, we identified that more than 40,000 people they didn't have a NASCO ID card. But they were employed since 2016 or 2006 by the Union Party. We brought even what we call national biometric system on the payroll. Nobody was on the payroll with national identification card. So we brought that on the payroll. So today when they are boasting of it, the first thing they're supposed to start and say, you know what? The CDC did a tremendous job to establish a national payroll system. If Mohammed Ali did that,
Time
tells
out.
me that
Thanks. So kind of come back to more in 3 minutes. After that, we will just hear something quick from the site where the explosion took place. But let's go to more for 3 minutes.
Julius, I would think that Benedict Oluba should leave the studio now. Okay. Because he has made several misstatements. Number one, I went through the CSA process to be employed at the Ministry of Finance. My records are there. I was on the CSA system. I was a civil servant. I was not just on finance ministry. That is a lie. Number two, the pay was not $3,500 or $3,250 gross. Number three, no minister. You see, when you come to these national discourses, you should come with facts and reality. No minister on government payroll ever in the history of this country and made 15,000, 17,000. Benedict Oluba sits here and said ministers were making 15,000, 17,000. That is wrong. But here's one thing I am happy about. He is continuously saying that these reforms are yielding results. Now let's come to harmonization. You see, harmonization was not what Benedict is talking about. As the civil servants, when they came in, they could not wrap their head around how they will create jobs for their partisans. And so their party chairman, Moba Molu, was sitting at his party headquarters and employing people in government. They met a payroll of 197 million. They took it to around 220 million plus. What happened? The IMF blew a alarm, and the IMF said, you cannot sustain this, and for us to do any meaningful reform, you have to drop this payroll to the status quo ante. So what they started doing was to start chopping people's salaries here, there, and yonder. They just sit down and look at you. Your name is Mo Ali, or you're making 2,000. I will cutting you today to 500. It wasn't a harmonized system to say across the board, BSc with this number of years experience, they will get this amount. Master degree with this number of years experience, they will get this amount. That was not the harmonization. They took it wrongly because they started off wrongly, and so it backfired on them, a boomerang on them, and they didn't know what to do. And I'll tell you this, you know, you talk about they didn't do this one, government job, they're not job. That's why he said when you are employing government, at least you have a job security if you maintain yourself well of 25 years. Government is the biggest employer in this country. Are we doing something to incentivize the private sector? Yes. And he talked about the agricultural sector. Oh, you know that to do. Agriculture sector, I will repeat to in the World
Time
Bank.
out. Time out. Thanks so kindly. Sorry, but as we have to stick to that. We move on to the other ones. And I will meet with you more on this one to make progress, and that has to do with the other areas of reform. I just want us to bundle them up in terms of rule of law, anti-graft, institutions, security, foreign relations. I want to give 4 minutes for those 4 areas. Just, So,
I'll start with foreign relations. We can see today that our foreign relations has gone from under the ground. We've resurrected it. We first rescued it. We resurrected it, and it's now flying high. And thanks to the ingenuity of President Bwaka and his foreign minister, Madam Sarah Beslo Nyanti, till today we have ascended to the seat on the as a non-permanent member on the Security Council. We are seeing the interaction with Liberia and other countries. Today, nobody is being designated for passport scandal, for selling passport. They were selling passport all over the place here. The passport, our diplomatic passport, were flying in the hands of criminals all over the world. That has been fixed. Let's come to anti-graft institution. The LACC was a ghost of what it is today. They didn't care. They didn't want to empower anti-graft institution because of the massive level of corruption. If they are empower anti-graft institution, they were afraid that they would go after them. We are not afraid. Go to the LACC today. In this year budget, they themselves say we are now able to work because our budget has been increased by $1 million. In the short term, the GAC has conducted more audit in the short term comparatively to what they conducted in their short term. I don't know the total, but as we stand, the GAC has conducted more than 80 audits in this administration. That speaks to the strength of the anti-graft institution. Are we taking measures? Are we acting on GAC audit? Absolutely yes. What the other area you talk about? You said there were 4 areas.
Yeah.
Rule of law.
Rule of law.
You see, Julius.
Security.
Security has improved in this country to the extent that Liberia has been graded in 2025 as one of the most peaceful countries in Africa, and I think 71 or 72 on the world stage.
I think 70.
70, good. We are peaceful, and this peace does not only come with security, but the rule of law, the way you implement rule of law. Is it that you are targeting certain people? Is it that you are going after certain people? No, nobody can say that. The law now is blind. The law does not know Mo Ali from Benedict Koluba in Reform in. So rule of law is the pillar of peace and security. If you do not have a vibrant rule of law system, our court system, our judicial system, today the judiciary is independent, that nobody can just run there. You say because you are government and you win case. This government has lost cases, high profile cases, and we all sit and talk about it. They in fact boast of those cases that government have lost. That speaks to rule of law. Security. Julius, I will tell you this. Today, the government, the president is not telling people, everybody will buy your own CCTV camera and put it to your houses. The government may not be there 100%, but we are providing the minimum security that will ensure that people are safe. And that is the reason why you see gradually we are returning to nightlife. You have the port now operating 24/7. You have other businesses that operate up to 8, 9, 10 in the night. That is because the security sector is working and because of the things that we are putting into place.
Thanks so kindly.
Thank you.
Let's go to Benedict Koluba. The other areas of reform under this administration, how do you look at them?
So I will still go back to the wage bill, right? Under the reform of the wage bill, my colleague claimed that we carried the wage bill up. The last budget I adopted, the 2023 budget, the wage bill was around $297 million. today, the wage bill is around $316 million. Ministry of Finance, how they call it, May-year report, I stated that here that to you. So running campaign and saying they put blood in the payroll is different from the reality setting in. So in terms of wage bill, they destroyed the wage bill in this country than ever because they had two payroll systems. I didn't say, I don't know how you got recruited at the Ministry of Finance. What I said was you were not on civil service payroll. I wasn't there when you were recruited. I know you were recruited from the executive service or what. But on the payroll, there was no centralized payroll system. I also maintained and I said, in fact, people could not see the minister's pay on the payroll. There was a different unit completely to handle minister's pay. Under our reform, so long you work with Ministry of Finance as minister, when the sweeper is taking pay, you are taking pay the same day. We put everybody pay on the same payroll. Those are facts that you can get call people from the Ministry of Finance anywhere to be able to verify. Reforms continue. Yes, because our country broke down, the Union Party under Madam Sadi brought about some reforms. Some of those reforms were just what we call supply because the partners were interested in it. It didn't meet contemporary reality. Go to the LSCC. The LSCC could not move. The LSCC had to investigate cases and be able to turn it over to Justice Ministry before Justice Ministry take it. If Justice Ministry decides that they will not prosecute, they won't prosecute. And we saw that as a hindrance to the fight against corruption. As a result, we revised the LSCC Act and we gave it prosecutorial power. LSCC doesn't have to wait again for Justice Ministry. And then you come and tell me that we destroy LSCC. You know, campaign messages are different. Today you go to the LSCC can be able to file a case on the docket without going to Justice Ministries. So yes, we did a lot of reform. In fact, that recruitment process for the LSCC was done by setting a committee. The civil society were part of that committee. Were not based on political appointee. In fact, some of our colleagues were even vexed why the president could not appoint them to the LSCC. If you check, for example, to the Internal Audit Agency, there are people there who I wouldn't want to name, but when you check their political lineage, they are more linked, the Governance Commission, all of them, they are more linked to the Unity Party. But they were recruited in the process, monitored by our partners. And so we did the heavy lifting in reform. In the judiciary, for example, you talk about pay slip. Hey, man. Go to Finance Ministry. We said the electronic payrolls. I don't know. So these guys have nothing to say, so they will come and regurgitate lies. If you call the payroll, the Human Resources Director of Ministry of Finance, and say we didn't introduce electronic pay slip system, the Controller General will tell you we introduced it. We brought in all of these reforms within the system. But the CDC is a party that worked to satisfy the Liberian people. But we had some little disadvantages. The fact that we were not, our truth that we were telling, our truth that we always say, our truth is a little bit late. We don't get on the radio every day and get split our truth. But the people who lie, they get on the radio quick and lie and say, okay, we did that. You say you reduced the wage bill, but the wage bill is now $360 million now. What kind of reduction is that? You say you save up to 10 million, 15 million within 2024. Nobody can see that money. The finance minister said they reduced the wage bill to $283 million now in the consolidated report. But the next year it's going to $360 million now. How can you tell me that you reduce it when these reports are written by yourselves?
Time out. Thanks so kindly. We move on to the final thematic area, development initiatives. The first of them being roads. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We want to bundle roads and utilities because of the time. We'll give 3 minutes for that each, and then we'll take the other two before we go to the lines. We'll give more time to participate. Let me begin with you, Benedict Koluba, on this one.
So before I
hold on. Let your turn start first. So roads and the utilities. What can you say about that? Turn starts.
So before I go to the road, I will end up with some governance issue. You know, for governance to work in any country, you have to look at social cohesion. When we took over the country, we are concerned about bringing the country together as opposed to what is happening. For example, Comrade Mo Ali headed one of the regional consultations for the PAPD, even though he was a new Unity Party president. For example, what's the guy, Mohammed Morris Kroman, who was insulting President We Are on the radio? He headed one of the consultations in the region. For example, the current Deputy Minister for Economic Management, he was a consultant. His name is in the PAPD. I can go on and on and on to tell you the way we ran the country was to bring people together because no one person can run the country. Today, if you see Benedict Cora name even on an application, you as an entity don't even shortlist him. We cannot run the country like that. So you can't be talking about governance and you're dividing the country. You can't be talking about governance when you're eliminating one group of people through your actions and inaction, and you say you are government. The country is more divided. Even in a church, you go to church, people know that you CDC man or you UP man. This is to the extent that our country is sitting on a time bomb. This is dangerous for us. We cannot govern this country when the country is divided. When president, look at me, I contested against President Baka in the sense of canvassing against him in Lofa. How did he start reconciliation with their bodies? Better Kolba, who said he will not support President Baka in Lofa. What had he done to say, you know why? Lofa people, you're my nephew, you can't hear, you can't at face on me. But I comb my hair and say, let's reconcile. But anywhere Better Kolba's name is mentioned, that is connected to anybody, it must be eliminated. Where is Jesse Koboy? So the critical issue about our country that is moving our country in a dangerous path is reconciliation. The reconciliation is passive. We brought the other people on board to support us. Not that they were better, but our job was to reconcile the country. We can move to the roads issue. Because the roads issue, I don't have much to say on the road issue. I have said it repeatedly that if the Public Works Ministry or Moa League name me, out of the 100% of the road they're doing, name me 20 new roads that they have signed new contract for, then they've done well. But I can name you more than 50 roads, contracts that we handed over to them. So we lay the basis, the foundation for everything that is happening. Our job, our problem is for people to sit repeatedly and say, the country, the economy was destroyed by CDC. How? Go to finance ministry, for example. Was there a system put into play we can broke it down? No.
Time out. Thanks so kindly. More on roads and utilities. Let's
I like Benedict. In order to escape the debate on rules and utilities and other stuff, he decided to talk about how Joseph Baka call in here for them to reconcile. Y'all do the local reconciliation. And I also like to say that, he can apply for a job. He's qualified. He will get it. Unlike during that time, people like Gafone were stopped from getting a UNDP job because they wrote. Me, I was stopped several times because they wrote. But let's come to utility. And let's begin with the Liberia Electricity Corporation. During that tenure, what we saw was a persistent outage of power because they could not maintain anything. They never had the acumen to maintain power. Electricity, that's what I said. I'm talking about. Today we are seeing consistently, instead of LEC now being Liberia expecting current, LEC now is Liberians enjoying current. We are enjoying that, and it's a testament to it. And don't say because it's the rainy season, the dry season is started in the dry season, and it will continue this dry season. Talking about roads, so electricity, they cannot argue on that. We were in perpetual darkness when they were in power. Talking about roads, I like it when Benedict say, let it show me one road contract they have signed. Benedict, most of the road contracts you inherited were started by the UP. And because you lack implementation mentality, you could not complete any road. Even the ones you started, you stopped. The smallest stretch of road that you inherited from ERWA Junction to Rail Line, you could not complete it for 6 years. We had to come back to complete it. Right here from Freeport to Douala, you struggled on it. You could not even put the first stretch of quota. We are now doing it. We are implementing. We are completing. Sign contract for road. We've already signed a contract from St. Paul Bridge to Clay Junction, from Clay Junction to Bow other side, and guess what? It's going to be 4 lanes. Of course, we have begun the construction of the overhead pass. Benedict, today you enjoy 24-hour water supply in your home if you are within the vicinity. Water supply during your time, that was Christmas like can today go 1 week. Those are the public utility that we're talking about here. Road construction, of course, we are seeing the pavement from Ganta to Sacré-Pied, from Sacré-Pied to Tapeta, and we are going to see the pavement from Tapeta to Zwedru, and from Zwedru to Kirikpo to Bekpo Car Weekend. These are the things that we are doing. Of course, you go to River Says, you see road construction work ongoing. Electricity has expanded there. People now in Yakpa Town can enjoy electricity. For decades, Brewerville and other places could not see electricity. They now enjoying electricity. People celebrating. Like, I think compound 1 or so in Basso, they now enjoying electricity.
Time is out. Thanks so kindly. Let's make progress on the next 2 before we go to the lines. It'll be 3 minutes again. We'll go to Benedict Koluba on these ones. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. The ones that have to do with education, health, and all that. So let's reset. Your time starts now, Benedict.
Yeah, so sometimes we don't have space for reporters, so I like to go track back and then move on to the main issue. The reason I didn't talk on rules, I didn't want to be monotonous because I have said it. I can name you all the rules contract we signed. The rules in naming about, they didn't sign those rule contracts. From Ganta to Sacré-Pied, you know that from Ganta to Sacré-Pied at CDC, it was from the road fund we signed that contract and the road pavement started there. For Tapeta to Toaston, for example, from Ganta to San Nicolas, from Fistan to Calibo, we signed those road contracts. Mo is not debunking that. All what he's saying, they are continuing it. What we are saying is that if you came and made the public to believe that we who were running the government, we didn't have head on our shoulders, then the thing we did are the one you are taking pride in. Then who are you? For example, on the energy electricity, one of the key constraints for electricity was the cost of electricity. We reduced the cost of electricity to as low as 15 cents per kilowatts. The vehicle that's supposed to transport electricity to this country, we brought the vehicle, the CLSG line. We completed the line and we did 3 or 4 substations. In fact, one of the substations in Bodota should have taken electricity all the way to Lufa. So I'm just bringing these things out and I can close on some of the things in education. But for example, the road going to his home, for example, in what the place name? Rubber Sports. We started our road pavement. We signed a contract, everything. So these roads he's talking about, he's got renewing contract. Gabriel talk about Bridge Road. Those are all roads. Johnsonville, Dry Market, Tusafi, all those roads. In fact,
he talk about water too.
We made people to know that. Communities needed to be linked to Monrovia. Because we started paving community roads in Monrovia. Monrovia was not linked to the suburb, for example, Johnsonville. Monrovia was not linked to those places. In the water, I say, Martin, all the water lines that are running, the 40-inch pipe you talk about, we signed a contract with the World Bank. We went right here to Fish Market, the first groundbreaking, the first line that running all the way to Duco. That's where we started it from. So yes, we did all of those things. They won the election. They are sitting on the foundation that we built. What we came here today to debunk and which has been established is that we didn't turn over. If we had a bioeconomy, we could not have turned over all of the financing agreements, all of these programs that they are now implementing. I can tell you, under the arrest agenda, maybe it will start next year. But what is going on now, they are all residual issue of the PAPD.
Okay.
In education, for example. Time out?
Yes, your time out. So we go to more on education in other areas.
He had nothing to say about education, and so he acted like he was delaying. Let me say this: put your fact checkers to work. Benendi said they brought CLSG land. I want I can just put your fact checkers to work. They didn't want brought CLSG. You made it there. You couldn't even maintain it properly. And education, I will start up with infrastructure. We have conducted, as of February 2025, we have conducted need assessment and upgraded county and school type with 105 identified for renovation. Nationwide in 2025, 28% of the 105 schools have been completed in renovation, 25% in progress in phase 1. Preliminary seating gap quantified 22,000 chairs in 2025 have been procured for students. 156 public schools receive computers, 25 each, with computer labs across the country. 28 science labs have been set up for public school, senior public high school across the country, and I'm giving you facts. You can go check it up with the Ministry of Education. Institutional supply. You know that one, that petty thing, I will not talk about it. Let's come to TVET. The TVET, as we speak, the government from our TVET program this month or early next month will be graduating around 1,200 students. 1,200 students will be graduating. The private sector linkages have been expanded through competency-based apprenticeship and approaches. And I'm speaking here from fact. I can say that these are things that require numbers. We secured for the early grade literacy, we secured $88.7 million to deliver excellence in learning, the Excel project, and structure the pedagogy program. These are things that we are doing that build the foundation of our educational system across the country. Of course, I told you, we are not only paying attention to the teaching, we are improving the infrastructure aspect of these things. And you see, the reason why we focus more on the education, we are bringing volunteer teachers on payroll, is because if they are not on payroll, there is a tendency that they will start collecting from students and they will not teach well. That's why you saw this year WAEC output is one of the best in the country, in our history. One of the best. We had a very high passing
Your
mark.
time is up. Thanks so kindly, Mo. What a debate, quite informative. I'll give each of you 2 minutes for the concluding statements before we go to the lines very quickly. In that, no, I didn't say I'm coming to you. Relax. I will start the conclusion. Who started the show? Mo. So you, Benende, will start the conclusion, but here is what it is. You have the time to say the strongest point of your opponent if he was strong on a certain point or blah, blah, blah. But your concluding statement is anything you want to say in conclusion. Your 2 minutes start now, Benedict Columbus.
So I want to conclude here. We just step on education and make a general conclusion. For the first time in the history of Liberia, when Union Party was leading for 12 years, we could not admit Liberia into WACs. Liberia could not take WACs because we didn't have the capacity. We admitted Liberia into WACs. The schools are there. We moved the school performance from 35% to almost 80-89% before we left. For somebody to say we didn't do well, all the 150 some more high school, we renovated it and gave it to the community. The PTA gave them the money to do that job. Besides that, all the multilaterals, all the TVET program we're talking about, we established it in Sino, for example, in Vonjama, for example. So they are getting. My point is, there is no debate here. We laid the foundation, they are stepping on the foundation wrongly and then condemning us. I would like to close on this to say, you know why? Our country has dwelt on lies so much, and the people lie because they are fast in speaking lies, that CDC destroyed the economy. But the foundation we set, that's what they are enjoying. And so today we've come to let the world know that, look, what the poor said we destroy the economy, we didn't. In fact, they destroyed the economy before we took over, and we handed over to them a better economy. But they are not managing it well. Go to the streets. Look at security issues. People are dying every day in the streets. Those things they lie to the Liberian people on. For example, electricity is cheap today because of us. Electricity is being expanded because of us. So we can tell the Liberian people that the CDC laid a very good foundation, but it's almost like you do concrete foundation and the poor can't put dead black over it.
Oh, okay. Thanks so kindly, Benedict Koluba, for working time with your conclusion. Mo Ali, let's hear you.
So thank you. One of the things Benedict said, he said when we disprove him, he should walk out of the system. He said there was no payroll system. Again, that's for your fact checkup, because during the AMK period as finance minister, there was a payroll system called GAPS.
No, he said one centralized payroll system.
Government, he said there was no payroll system.
No, I think he was particular about centralized, like everybody on our payroll system.
The government had a payroll system that was called the Government Accounting Payroll System. Okay. But let me say this. I also enjoyed the fact that Benedict Koluba could not argue on the achievement of this government. All you are saying, oh, they inherited it from all. Oh, they inherited that one from all. We inherited anything from you. We inherited things that you could not do because you lack implementation mentality. If I were a seditious, I would be running behind some of these people. Because everything they say, we did it, we signed it. What you were doing for 6 years, you could not complete any to tell your partisans, we've completed this, that will make them enthusiastic to campaign for you to win election. You could not do that. All you were passing around, the only thing you were completing were your personal homes, your personal properties. We are different. We have implementation mentality. That's why the moment we got into power, we started shooting straight for projects, for implementation. And those are the things that we're doing. That's why you hear then, every time we're doing a project, the next thing they go the wrong. Oh, that we the one brought a project. Oh, you're not bringing no project. Oh, you're not doing no project. You do not run a government on the basis of that we the one signed it, that we the one signed it. You run a government on the basis of that we the one do it, that we the one doing it. And that is what the Unity Party is doing. And now I am happy that he can debate their 6 years to our 1 year, 8 months, and still there can be no comparison.
Thanks so kindly. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5 700 995 995 995. The numbers to call. My name is Julius J. We have with us Muhammad Ali of the Unity Party and Benedict Koluba of the CDC. Benedict, why are you wearing blue and green mix? Are you mixing the two parties?
Well,
yeah,
it's all intentional, but I'm a traditional man.
Okay.
I'm coming to your studio. Your studio is green.
Okay, thanks. No. I was just pulling your legs. 777 700 995 995 995. The numbers to call. Let's hear you, Jefferson Cherson, former assistant minister. Not more than 1 minute.
Thank you, Julius. And listen, I'm still looking forward to the day the Unity Party will ever stop lying and be sincere to the Liberian people. Stop misleading the Liberian people. Let's be sincere for once. This is the only way the country will progress. Mo Ali is telling us that he gave in the public the price for wholesale under the Unity Party and quoting the retail price of rice for under the CDC government. That is gross dishonesty and misinformation. Until the Unity Party desists from this country is not going to progress on a...
What is the retail price now, and what was the wholesale price on average?
Julius, if you compare prices, you cannot compare the retail price on the CDC to the wholesale price under the Unity Party. That is gross deception.
And so you now have the opportunity to do it the right way.
No, but I mean, Benedict is in studio.
Oh no, but are you the one noticed that one and called? Benedict didn't mention it.
I don't have the information.
Okay, but yeah, thank you, Chief, thank you. We don't have enough time. Let's go to Unity Party's Melvin Cephas, Youth League Chair. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julius.
Yes, go ahead. Not more than 1 minute.
Let me say good afternoon to Mo Ali.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see the fellow in studio there is finding it difficult to debate CDC 6 years to that of our less than...
No. That is not what the debate was about. But we're not debating 6 years.
Yeah, Julius, all of the references Benedict Koluba gave, it was done within 6 years. And we are discussing our achievement in less than 2 years. I'm just trying to let the public know that when we reach at our 3rd year or 4th year, CDC will have nothing to say in the country. Because
Okay.
our
CDC will have nothing to say. Melvin Cephas. Let's take Akaros Great, former lawmaker, CDC. Welcome. Let's hear you, sir.
Thank you very much. That is a good evening to my two great friends in studio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I will always take the side of Benedict in this debate.
Yeah, but it is obvious that you are a CDC man, so that was I sort of thing.
Oh, you said something very important. Now look at inflation. You said in July, inflation was at 11.5. But we left inflation at 10.1. So that means you're damaging the economy if you take the difference. You also spoke of the issue of
But sir, is inflation going up on account of damaging the economy?
It's part of it. It was part of it.
Okay. Go ahead.
When inflation goes up, a part of it that mismanagement of the economy of the country. He also spoke of the issue of the wage bill. We left the wage bill at 297 million rand there. You took it to 316 million United States dollars. That is a blotted wage bill. You spoke against harmonization during the period campaign that it was wrong, you're going to cancel it. You're going 2 years into government, you have not canceled harmonization at all, and you have done nothing to repeal that legislation. I just wanted to stop there because we have only 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so kindly for living within time. Let's take Noah Gibson of the Unity Party. Noah, welcome.
Julius, thank you ever so much. And I call basically to salute Mo Ali in studio. You know, it sounds laughable that Jesse will call and they not even point to any fight. He just talk. Okay, let me provide you with five, Julius. For example, what Mo Ali is trying to tell you, when the Unity Party left power on January 22nd, 2018, we left the price of rice at 1,875. The CDC left it at 3,500 in fact for their time. Julia, you are a witness. Are you not a witness that people were claiming over fans?
My man, there were over 2 years of Ebola, man, and you know why it did to the whole world.
No, Julia.
I just said no.
No, Julia, listen. Corona is not.
Okay, now, yeah, you're right. Corona, not Ebola.
Let me tell you, Julius. The people took power over. They took power 2018. 2020 March, Corona reached Liberia. So they were almost 3 years of their regime. What happened in the rest of the almost 3 years?
Okay.
So that's not an excuse.
Okay.
So let me conclude quickly. I'll take you in 10 seconds.
The deputy managing, the director crying for time.
No, yeah, I beg you. Julia, don't you already conclude in 10 seconds?
Yeah,
please?
conclude.
Okay. The price of gas, they were telling the Liberian people that it was because of the war in Ukraine. That one made gas for all. Right now, price of gas is stable. So the war in Ukraine is over now.
Okay, thanks so kindly. So I have taken two new UP people and two new CDC people. Your rest on my personal line. Let me go overseas and let me come to the public line, yeah? Your rest more. You're the UP and CDC people. And I tell you, two. Everything will be equal to the. Welcome, let's hear you. On the overseas.
This is Master for, and I call you from my rescue center. Julius, Mo Ali in studio. I have never seen anybody who laughs at Mo Ali, Akaros Ray, and Dara Salon.
How?
This is the fact. Mo Ali, this is young baby economics. So create just me. You came here and you never met this entity here, and then you brought it here and then you employ people. That's what you create jobs. That's what you employ people in work, and that's not just creation. And then another thing, the role you posting on being local people working there, even AFP or Apple have won. The people who build it, who are still going to be building it. So that's the creation. And then another thing, come to the economy. You're saying that you got to increase the salary of civil servants. Okay, you increase the salary of civil servants by $10, or let's say $20. And then the people who are paying school fees, $200 per example per year, for entire school year. And then the school fee went up at least $75 added to the $200. That's $275. So you added $20 to the salary, you didn't use it. So that's not what it's called boosting the economy. And
okay.
Then another thing, the reason why you are boosting of creating very cemeteries is because you are adding more bread to we, the consumers.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Masakwa on the line from the U.S. Let's come to the local public lines. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you. Julius, good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Paul Kukwe and I talk to you from Monrovia.
Let me say thank you to Benedict for providing us some education this evening. Our complete class will be in this evening, Benedict. I don't know where you've been. You guys allowed the Unity Party to destroy the CDC with lies over the 6 years. Where have you been, Benedict? Mo, are you also surprised that the UP, or are you not aware that the UP has been chasing physicians out of jobs? If you're not aware, let me say I am a clear victim of the Unity Party chasing physicians out of their offices. And so
hello? Okay. Let's see who's on the side. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes. Good evening. How are you doing, Julius?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. My name is Ambassador Divan Tiapo, political apostle in like call from district number 16 to be precise, around the Kawa Junction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. Let me appreciate your two guests in studio, Mr. Koruba and that of Mr. Ali. And then more especially, let me say my heartfelt appreciation to my partner, Mr. Mo Ali. I think he expanded lengthily. Like we said, when it comes to the workings of our government, the Unity Party government, they are on course because things that CDC didn't do yesterday, and what the Unity Party government is doing, and then now CDC now, as we speak now, we are getting some information. Sometimes when they organize themselves, they say that and we make mistakes. We should do this. What the Unity Party is doing, they can be making argument among themselves. But then when they come on the public square, they pretend and say the government is not working. But they know that the government is working.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's go overseas. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. Yes, go ahead.
My name is Samuel. Sorry, what's that? My question going to Benedict. Simple. Benedict, how can you compare the streets of Monrovia present to the time you serve in power?
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's take the next person from overseas. Welcome. Let's hear you. Okay, that one went up. Let's see who's here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Julius. This is Bernardo Sinako, Morocco.
Go ahead.
Well, I would like to say thanks to Benedict Konva for the exposé. I think he did well. But this is what I want to say, Julius. Mo Ali is a policy maker. He's supposed to be a policy maker. He's supposed to be aware about how donor-funded projects are carried out. And at least I expect him to think that every financing agreement that was carried out or made under the Julius administration will have been completed in the very period of time, because every project has a time bound, and he is supposed to be aware that some of these projects will not be completed in the space of just 6 years. There are multiple projects that were completed under the Julius administration, and we don't expect that everything categorically.
Okay, we heard that. Let's take this one from overseas, and we come back locally. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello.
Yeah, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Tony and Julius. I'm calling you from Seattle, Washington. I didn't have nothing much to say, but I just want to tell more at the Unity Party, the wrath of God await every one of those guys for lying.
What you bringing God in this one again?
Nothing much I want to say behind this. I'm looking at more on the TV, sitting in my living room. I'm living a comfortable life. But what happened to our brothers and sisters in our country? What happened to those people? What happened? Why does they lie so much like this?
Okay.
Nothing they can ask him.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. The man has invoked. Okay. Thank you. The man has. Okay. Let's take. Whew. It's not easy. Let's see who's on this end. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you. First female caller.
And good evening to my MP, Mo Ali.
Mm-hmm.
This is Princess calling from District 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the fellow instituted there from the CDC camp. You said you were giving a quarry, but we were here expecting quarry for 6 years. Yes, we were here expecting quarry for 6 years. So my question to you is, how much did you left the rest press and the gap press and all question is, how much did you left it before you left power? The rest, how much you left it, and how far were LEC when you left the country? You told African quarry. So how far were LEC when you left the power?
Okay, thanks so kindly as well. Let's see who's on this other local. Okay, let's take this one from the Unity Party's end. Welcome, let's hear you.
Julius, thank you.
But what are you laughing for? Are you not a Unity Party man?
I'm a legacy member of the Unity Party.
Then why you laugh? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Julius, for the opportunity. Good evening to Mo Ali and to Benedict Cordoba. My name is A.B. Samukai. I call you from Central Town. Let me say thank you to Mo Ali. Let me just start from where the last caller stopped. She said how much was gas price when the CDC left out. Gas price was around 970 and 980 some areas. So that is completely clear. Since we took over, that particular price has not reached that particular level. But Julius, the reason why I call, it is completely foolhardy to compare 6 years of your leadership to that of 1 year.
No, but that is not what we were doing here.
Yeah, but it seems like it because you're still.
No, we were actually putting your almost two years regime on trial. So maybe he was just making references, but it was actually putting your 1 year, I think 8 months on trial.
So yeah, so now the benchmark for comparison is his time as opposed to the 2 years.
Okay.
And clearly, Julius, if you see the 2 years and the 6 years, you will see that these 2 years have done more than the 6 years. It's
okay.
Clear.
Thanks so kindly. Let's take the final one from a new CDC Mental Equation Balance. Welcome, Zeze Piwi.
Thank you, my brother. More laugh here. Then he laugh. By the way, let me say good evening to both of them. You know, I love them. But let me say this, Julius, we need to be honest here. Even if we're coming to take over, to build a house is the foundation. All the things want to run away, it will even come be more because John we have more contact more than for the some year old man that they say he have more contact. Traveling with 40 some more party going here and there coming here and there and they bringing nothing here. That time that we going far. So nobody can be saying now you're arguing to say that you United Party on top of thing. They're not on top of that thing. So
okay.
Don't confuse a lot of people on there. Reference kid now what John we are talking over. He surprised the market. Everybody knew this. And Julia J, you are living with them on that. That the last year that thing went hard. So nobody will come here and sugarcoat anything else to say Joe we are government when they got into power reference went on hard. No. It was because the global prices went on hard. Even they
okay, thanks so kindly, Zeze, because of time we'll go back to them. The interest is extremely high. Even if I left the line open for the next 1 hour, because we still continue to come, I have to go back to both of them to wrap up, to respond 2 minutes each. That's what I want to do. Now is a mini man go. Who is can someone willingly say they are wrapping up the first more?
There is no problem with that. You know, I like the fact that every time I come on the radio, the CDC people hear my voice, they can be so angry because we pierce them with the fact. And Jeff Chesson, my own friend, just stated that they've developed their talking point. Oh, you need the party poking lie. You need the party poking lie. Jefferson Chesson, you get information. Don't call on the radio. They ask you small question now you can't answer. I didn't know that the harmonization was a legislative tool that was passed by Akaros then, my own big brother. But Akaros, we have begun reversing harmonization. The fact that we did increment in salary, no matter how marginal it will be, for 23,000 civil servants, that is the beginning of the reversal process. It's easy to destroy and it's very hard to reconstruct or build. And the comrade from America who call in first and invoking God, my brother, you will continue to be versed because you continue to see all on your screen. And you see it's now important to increase civil servant salary by $10, $15, $20. It mean anything. I'm sure the civil servants are causing you CURSING. I'm not talking about, to insult. They swear you as well. Let me say it that way. But Julius, I'd like to close up by this very, very quickly. Our achievements within 1 year, 8 months has already surpassed what the CDC did within 6 years. And that is the reason why Benedict Koluba debating cannot talk about the 1 year, 8 months. He is referencing the second term of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the first UP era. And he has not ever talked about what that era inherited from the war. And I like the fact that he said everything you're implementing, that we the one started it. It means that we are implementers.
Your time is out.
Thank you.
Thanks. So kindly, Benedict, your time starts now.
So I like to state categorically here that as a professional person, there is no way I can compare Unity Party 1 year with CDC. No. I have posted, and the major conversation has been, and my point has been, they gave elusive facts and lie on us. And when they took over, the reality is setting in. They are telling the population that they inherited a bad economy. I came here to prove to the world that no, they didn't inherit a bad economy. They inherited a good economy as compared to what we took from them. But they are unable to manage it. What are the evidences? If you go to the market, I went to Ofula, man, I want to buy something in US. I sent him the money. He said, no, he cannot hold US from me. I want to change money right now. If those are the things he's talking about, at Cinco, the notice is there, no Liberian dollars. They couldn't give me Liberian dollars. You have to work in US dollars. So let me say this. On the electricity, somebody asked, we can emit 50,000 person having electricity tomorrow. We carry to more than 280,000 person. We reduce the cost of electricity in this country here. We established a World Civil Service payroll system in the country. What we came here today to let you know is that we established a good foundation with concrete, strong pillars. The Unity Party right now, they are putting bricks. We have something like 16-inch steel rod. They are putting in quarter inch to go and take money from Musa Ability and pull it on the other side. Those are not concrete measure to solve the economic problem of this country. The real issue are the livelihood, how people can have secure income generation. I can't talk about these measures they are doing right now. It's a different conversation because they are alcohol. There's a flawed economic foundation that they have. That's the reason why the finance ministry will report different number for wages. CSA will report different number for wages.
Benedict Koluba. That's how we go. It has been quite a debate, and I want to say thanks to both of you for keeping it very civil, very educative, very enlightening, and a whole lot of people in the public are full of praise for both of you. So you can pat yourselves on the back. My name is Julius J. Tomorrow will be another day on the OK Conversation.